I'm Jacob with Team Moki Moki, and this week we're looking at my Blackwing deck profile. So off the bat, we've got 3 Shura. Shura is great, he's 1800, works well with Whirlwind. We got 3 Bora, he is our Piercer. Get some damage in on those Recruiter decks. We've got 3 Kalutes for getting over anything that might be bigger than the current Blackwing we have. We've got 3 Sirocco. Sirocco can help us pump, get over anything that might be over 2,000. Blizzard is probably the most get you out of trouble card in the whole deck. There are so many tight spots that can be solved with just Blizzard. Speaking of which, we have Gale, 1 Gale. If I could run 2 or even 3 Gales, I absolutely would. This card is incredibly broken. This card is so good, it goes in not Blackwing decks. I've got 2 Vayu. I know some people like to run 3. I found that when you run 3, you end up drawing Vayu way more than you really want to, but 2 has been a very consistent amount for me, so I have really stuck with 2. Got Dark Arm Dragon. No Blackwing deck doesn't run Dark Arm Dragon. Dark Arm Dragon is just absolutely a force to be reckoned with. And then one of my interesting tech cards, I run 2 Cybers in the main deck. Cyber is an easy special summon in a type situation. You can get over almost anything with Cyber Dragon. I have really enjoyed this card. I have seen it work so well in machines and other decks that I just had to try it, and it just keeps working out. I've got 2 Whirlwind to start off our spells. Obviously, if you could run more Whirlwinds, you would run more Whirlwinds, but that would be absolutely broken. Got 2 Book of Moons. Book of Moon can really work well with some of your Piercers and some of your lower attack Blackwings. It is great. We've got Brain Control, Heavy Storm, and MST. And then we have Allure of Darkness to work with our mostly dark deck. Up with traps, we have Icarus Attack. Icarus Attack, I have cut down to 2. I used to run 3, but honestly, I have not had any problems drawing this card. Having 2 seems to be absolutely plenty for me. I know that a lot of people might be wondering like how that could be, but I cut it down to 2 once, and I've never regretted it. 2 Deep Prisons. With Stardust in the format, you can't not run Deep Prison. Got 2 Bottomless, Mirror Force, Torrential, Solemn Judgment, and another tech that I like is the Double Starlight Road. I have a friend at Locals who ran 2 Starlight Roads in his Disaster Dragons, Trap Dragons deck, and it has just consistently won him games by itself. And I thought, why not give it a shot? And I have not regretted it since. Starlight Road is just a great card that can easily help you out of a really tight spot. They're going to try to Heavy Storm your Black Whirlwind the second they get a chance. The second they think that you have Icarus Attack, they're gonna Heavy Storm you. They're gonna try to Black Rose you. In Blackwings, they're gonna try to wipe your field as quick as possible because it piles up real quick. Starlight Road stops that. Next up, we have the extra deck. We have Cataster. Cataster is great because it can basically out any non-dark monster. It has really been helpful to me in setting up great situations. Magical Android for gaining life points. You find yourself getting low, you make Magical Android, get yourself back in that game. 2 Armed Wing. Armwing is another one of those piercers that can also work for you in the graveyard. We've got Brio. Brio's a staple. It can bounce things from the deck to the hand. It'll stop your opponent from getting too far ahead of you and having that advantage on the field. Goyo. This card is just amazing. It is way too powerful for a 6-star monster. 2800 attack for a 6-star monster is absolutely crazy. And not only that, it gets over most things and then just steals it at the end of the turn. So that is just, Goyo is great. Black Rose is your own personal nuke. If you find yourself in a situation where you just are completely defenseless against a big board, just make yourself a Black Rose, wipe out the whole field. Start over fresh. Armor Master. Armor Masters, so amazing of a card. It is probably the card that most people run Blackwings for. I've even seen some people run Gales in other decks just so they can run Armor Master. It doesn't take any battle damage. It can't be destroyed by battle. If you summon it the right way, it's basically a tank that your opponent now has to change the entire strategy they have just to out this one card. And even if they do out it, there's still combos in the graveyard you could make to get another big monster. And that big monster being Silverwind. Silverwind has just been a major beater for me. Way to just attack over literally anything. You outed my Armor Master, I'm now going to punish you for it with Silverwind. Colossal Fighter. Colossal Fighter is one of those original synchro monsters that has just not gone away. And there's a reason it hasn't gone away. It can't be destroyed by battle without it just immediately coming back. You have to find an effect or spell or trap to out it. Otherwise, it's just gonna sit there looming over your opponent. It's another one of those cards that forces your opponent to take the strategy they're taking and just redo it completely and figure out a new way. Dark End Dragon. If this card was affordable back in the day, every deck would run it, just like how Edison works now. Dark End Dragon is amazing. It's another one of those cards where you have the big monster you're staring down. Well, make Dark End Dragon. Because Dark End Dragon, you can just lower its attack and just say goodbye to that pesky card that you got. Obviously, with 2 Starlight Roads, we're going to run 2 Stardust Dragons. What can be said about Stardust Dragon that hasn't already been said? It's been around since the beginning. It's going to be around till the end. It can tribute itself to negate destruction, and then it just comes right back. Thought Ruler. Thought Ruler is another one of those big boys that can have some situational assistance for you. And we have Chimera Tech. Of course, we have to have Chimera Tech because it just absolutely destroys machine. And with me running Cyber Dragons in my main deck, I might as well have that in my side deck from the get-go because no one is going to expect that. For the side deck, I have 2 DD Crow, probably one of the most cited cards of all time, if not for Cyber Dragon, which I already have in my main deck. So I've got 2 Fossil Dyna. This is probably one of my favorite side deck cards. I have cited this in matches that possibly didn't even need it, but it just out special summons, and it's just a really good card that works against most things. There's definitely those matches where it works better and is way more effective than others, but I just love Fossil Dyna, man. 2 Smashing Grounds. This is great against Christia Sworn, which is a deck that you cannot ignore. So Christia Sworn, when you're going against that, you really need to out that Christia. Royal Oppression. This is one of those cards that originally, when I was first getting started, I was not a fan of. I kept seeing it hurt me a lot, But once you actually practice and actually learn how these cards work, Royal Oppression just wrecks your opponent. It's just a card that I can't imagine me not using anymore now that I actually have it. You got 2 Deck Devastation Virus. Take care of those fairy decks that are out there, as well as some others that have those lower attack monsters. It's real easy to get out a monster to use as its tribute. You got Sirocco that can normal summon itself. It works with Armed Wing, Armor Master, and even if you get rid of those synchros, you can still synchro with them in the graveyard using Vayu. So you're not even like losing anything with that card if you have the grave set up. Got 2 Tuner Schemes. Now, I do not use Tuner Scheme a lot, but when I do, it is just great when your opponent goes through all this effort to get a synchro monster out on the field, and then you just go, mine. It's mine now. And then it's just banished afterward. It's gone. So they can't even use it again if they once it's gone. Got 2 Skill Drain. I used to run Light Mirrors, but I found that is only really helpful for like Fairies and Lightsworn, Christiasworn, and honestly, I sometimes just messed up how I'm using it correctly. Skill Drain just works against everything. It's a whole lot simpler of a card, and it's just automatically is just no. And then I run Dark Illusion specifically for the mirror match, but there are other decks like, say, Frogs that it might work on if Caius is attacking Hero B using their effects on your monsters. It just automatically destroys it. But I specifically started running this because people will side Sirocco against Blackwings just to get over top of your monsters. And Dark Illusion really stops that Sirocco side hate. And then we've got a Wedge token in case you'd like to use that for your Blackwing Armor Master. And that was my pure Blackwing deck profile. Originally I was going to build dragons when I was getting started, but I decided to go with Blackwings, and I can see why other people have chosen to do that too. It's a fun deck, it's very consistent, it is repeatedly topping tournaments, and it gives you a lot of freedom to match your playstyle with some of those other cards in the deck. I chose to go with Cyber Dragons and Starlight Roads because they can really get you out of those tight spots that you find yourself in, and can really pay off in the long run, getting you out of those tight spots. I have really enjoyed working on this deck, and I cannot wait to see you guys next time.